Hello, welcome back to Fire Nursing Tutorial YouTube channel. In this class, we are going to discuss with another new topic, that is appendicitis. We'll see what is appendicitis, what are all the causes, clinical manifestations, what is pathophysiology, and also diagnostic evaluation and then treatment. First, we'll see what is appendicitis. Always this itis indicates inflammation. Here, inflammation of appendix. It's an inflammation of vermiform appendix that more commonly develops in adults, that is between age group of 20 to 30 years, we can say. That is appendicitis. Next we'll see the etiologies and risk factors for appendicitis. Etiologies and risk factors. What are the causes and risk factors for appendicitis? We'll see. First and foremost, there is the infection. And then there will be the first and foremost there will be the infection. After that, there will be the fecal calculus. Fecal calculus that occurs the lumen of appendix. Here a fecal matter that occurs, that blocks the lumen of the appendix, and then also swelling of the bowel wall. Of that fibrous condition of a bowel wall. And also there will be the occlusion of the bowel by adhesive substance. Occlusion of the bowel by adhesive substances. And also there will be the twisting of the appendix. Twisting of the appendix. And then most commonly we can say that lymphoid hyperplasia. Hyperplasia. It refers to the lymphatic tissue hyperplasia, abnormally increased in the number of cells, and also we can say that occlusion of bowel by tumor. This is also one of the risk factor, we can say. Occlusion of the bowel by tumor. These are the etiologies and the risk factors, we can say. Okay. Next we'll see the pathophysiology of appendicitis. First and foremost, what happens in appendicitis is obstruction takes place. Obstruction of appendix. Due to the obstruction, there will be the increased intraluminal pressure. This indicates lower abdominal pain. Due to the obstruction, there will be the increased intraluminal pressure. This indicates lower abdominal pain. Due to that, decreased venous drainage. Due to the obstruction, there will be the decreased venous drainage. That leads to thrombus formation. Thrombus we can say. And then this leads to edema. And then that edema leads to bacterial invasion. That is the spreading. And then this leads to gangrene. After that, gangrene is going to develop as perforation. Perforation is nothing but there is the abscess formation, pus formation we can say. This is all about the pathophysiology of appendicitis. Next we'll see the clinical manifestations of appendicitis. First and foremost, there will be the abdominal pain we can see. That is severe. It will be severe acute abdominal pain. And then low grade fever will be there. And then discomfort, restlessness the person is to feel. And then altered bowel movement. And then nausea and vomiting are less common. And then anorexia we can see. Constipation is a common clinical manifestation of appendicitis. And then bad breath, coated tongue. These are the clinical features of appendicitis. Next, we'll see the diagnostic evaluations. Diagnostic evaluations for appendicitis. First and foremost, there will be the history collection. History collection and then physical examination is needed for bowel movement. For history collection and then physical examination for bowel movement. After that, blood test. Blood test. In this, there will be the increased WBC. After that, USG can be performed. These are the diagnostic evaluations for appendicitis. Next, we'll see the management. Management of appendicitis. Here, there is no medical management. Only IV fluids and antibiotics are administered. The surgical removal of vermiform appendix, that is called appendectomy. This is the surgical thing. Appendectomy is needed. That is nothing but a surgical removal of vermiform appendix. And then indication is it has to be done. The removal of appendix within 24 to 48 hours. 24 to 48 hours. And then delay. It should be on time. Delay in removal of appendix may cause the rupture of organ. Due to the rupture, there is the perforation of the bowel and peritonitis can take place. Here, perforation is the most common. Perforation of bowel is the most common, and then antibiotics are required. And then, if required, surgical drainage. And then here, peritonitis, that is develops after peritonitis. Perforation. Peritonitis that develops after perforation. Peritonitis develops after peritonitis. And then next we will see the complications. Complications are pelvic abscess, and then peritonitis. These are the complications. Here, peritonitis, there will be the collection of pus, formation of pus that is in between the this one, liver and the diaphragm. That is pelvic abscess and the peritonitis. These are the complications. This is all about the appendicitis. I hope you all are clear with the topic appendicitis. Please like, share and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you for watching.